Hi guys, it's Ryan here from theprivatebanker.com. Just going to do a quick recap for crude oil here and show you what I've seen the last few days. So going through yesterday quickly, let's start with this week. So last week we see new all-time highs put in. We had a bank holiday on Monday, and then going into Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday we just see balancing at the highs, so we just see two-way trade coming in, and we couldn't take out that 104.50, and what we saw at 104.50 on Friday was a huge seller capping the highs. So I'm just going to show you what we saw. Bear with me a second. So as you can see here on Friday, as we put in new year highs on the back adjusted contract, there's this huge passive seller at the 104.50s capping the highs. And since we put this high in and we've seen that huge print established there, we've not been able to trade above it. So that's just some real important information pushing forward here, regards to this current market, as it's a line in the sand at the minute, that area. So obviously if we can't trade above it, then there's only one direction we can go in, and that's back down. So anyway, so as I said, we see balance coming in on Tuesday, and then on yesterday, Wednesday, we saw a huge a long liquidation profile in place. So let's quickly have a look at it. So off the open, we opened up inside the previous day's value. We see responsive sellers off the open liquidating long positions, and the market continued to liquidate, and there's obviously so much to sell into the close. We see this massive spike down into the close as they were clearing out inventory that they needed to get off the books. And what we also see here was a spike down to where we gapped up, and we found buyers to put a new all-time high here. So we actually closed out the gap. We had an open gap from 102.48 to 103.05's area, and we spiked right into that gap into almost a 10 exponential moving average, and we still didn't close out that gap. So there is a gap here, which is also an important reference below us at the moment. If we quickly take a look at the current distribution at the highs that's forming on the TPOs, you can see here that I'm going to show you the short covering profile into yesterday. So this is where we gapped up away from that initial balance and put in highs. We found value and established a good price, and at 104 even. And so obviously I was still expecting this to try rotate higher. So if we opened up here, I would have looked to been buying value and the point of control mean, but we couldn't. So we opened up inside the previous value, and we couldn't trade above the point of control. We found responsive sellers here, so this completely changes context. So like I said, we see a short covering profile come in. So short covering profile looks like a B shape. So a long liquidation profile, sorry. So we see them come in, and then we see them selling, and then there's so much inventory to get rid of, they spiked it down into the close. So as I said, they spiked it down into this open gap. We've also cleaned up this poor low now, and we have great excess on this profile. So going into trade today, I mean, this is the current trade that we have been trading in. So there's two things could have happened. We either completely see a disconnect in the market away from this value and this point of control, and the complete perception of value change and a shift in equilibrium to the sell side, or we continue to find value where we've originally been trading for the last couple of days, between this 103 and 104.20 area. And this is exactly what happened. We rejected the spike from yesterday, we found buyers off the open, and we see a reversion to the mean back to established value and price. So beautiful context in play at the minute, and a real good example of how the markets can play out, and if you know how to track things correctly regards value, price, and context in the market. So I'm just going to go through a couple other things here, pushing forward. I mean, this week we see a imbalance to the sell side, but still was looking two-way trade in the market, as you can see, and there was an imbalance start here, but we just couldn't continue it down. So what we saw is obviously a reversion back to the weekly mean, and couldn't test the value area high here, but we are well back in value now. So expecting obviously two-way rotations trade into the end of the week until we see some change here. A couple other important things that we're seeing is we've seen value finally catch up with price here on the weekly. We pulled back into value yesterday, and this was that massive, the nice sell-off, and we've seen responsive buyers from value. I mean, we've not put in a new high, and we couldn't test the half standard deviation, but we have rotated to that higher volume node on the volume composite. Also, lining up with some more context here, we did see a pullback to the developing value area high on the quarterly, and we did respect this area very well. On the yearly, we're pretty much in no man's land, but I mean, we are trading within the 1.5 standard deviation, with value from last year below us and this year's developing value below us. And one thing I want to mention yesterday is the huge amount of selling that we see coming into the market. So if we're looking at Delta here, we can see off the open that there's just selling to be done, and all of this area here, I mean, the market was not making any lower lows, but the Delta was just getting sold off hard. So what this was showing was that there was selling to be done, and obviously the aggressive selling was going to put in a new low. So, and as you can see here, the Delta started to just get sold off real hard, and the market finally followed into the close here. And today, I mean, just the same sort of thing. You can just see the buying imbalance. We couldn't really trade below Delta off of the open on the Globex session, and we came down, tested that previous day's lows, where we found responsive buyers. And ever since then, they've just been buying the market back up to where established value was, and we've actually seen a beautiful destination trade today work out from yesterday's value area low to value area high. So pretty good trading today, and nice active markets at the minute. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for the minute. I mean, going into the rest of the week, I mean, we've got pretty much the weekend tomorrow, and with it being Friday, and we're going to have a new month close. So this developing value area for this month will close out, and we will form new value. I mean, we pretty much established slightly higher value inside of last month's value here. So obviously going into next week, we're either going to see a mean reversion to find buyers, or we're going to reject, and we're going to put in a new high. So see what happens here. Obviously, currently this current composite is very important here. I mean, depending on how we keep opening and trading, I mean, we're going to keep finding sellers off the point of control, and we're going to come down and test this 102.16 from this previous balance, or we're going to start to open up a bit higher and find buyers establishing higher prices here. Anyway, I'll catch you all tomorrow, and hope you all had a great day trading. Any questions, as usual, please ask.